Hello guys, welcome to another episode of The Seventh Aspect. I am Siggy and I'm joined by Gary.
Thank you for joining us. It's great to have you here. We hope you're enjoying the series.
Yep, so we are in the second game of the top 8 of our Showcase Showdown. Gary, do you want to talk a bit about the decks?
Absolutely. In general, I'm just really excited about the top 8. I think this is really, really fun. We have a Krennic deck. As we said in the previous episode, the leaders are now going to be locked into these deck lists for the rest of the tournament should they continue. We have best of ones for the top 8, but top 4 and final will be best of 3 with sideboards. And this Krennic list is a Krennic green with ECL. Really interesting list. I mean, you'll see more about it in the episode, but I think it's really, really cool. And it's by Trent DuPont.
Yep, this is a good showing at the Kissimmee tournament that we are taking most of our decks from. I think it was in the top 16 there.
And then we have a Grand Inquisitor deck. Now, this is quite interesting because this deck that we're using was actually, at least I first saw it from Jay from Unplayable. Way back in February, this deck was created. And we haven't seen tons of Inquisitors doing well. But this deck did do quite well at a Polish tournament. I won't try and pronounce the name of the place. But other than that, we haven't seen much of GI.
No. But let's see how he fares against the Krennic.
Let's play Unlimited. Welcome to the gaming table. The chance cube was flipped by me this time, Sig, and it landed on blue. I don't know if there's a pattern yet, but it seems a bit strange.
Oh, yeah, we've been talking about this. It seems to land on the one that he's throwing it.
How's your mulligan decision here?
Yeah, I had turn 1 play, turn 2 play. I had stat fast to take out your lead there. I was pretty happy. I resourced one probe droid and reinforcement walker because
Excellent.
I felt it was.
I had 2 Inferno 4s on my side, and Inferno 4 is a really nice turn 1 play, but I didn't have anything for turn 2, and I didn't have anything for turn 3, so I decided to mulligan, and I think it paid off. I got another Inferno 4 back. I also got a Bike Scout, Baze, and a 7th Sister, so a pretty nice curve for the first 4 turns, depending on what else I draw.
Also, double Inferno 4, you can only play one of them at a time, or you can only have one of them at a time, so it's not even. You can even have them both on the board at the same time, so.
Exactly.
So you look at 2 cards, put one to the bottom and one on top.
And the one I see is Fifth Brother, which I'm quite happy about. He's one of my favorite cards in this Grand Inquisitor deck. I think it's super strong.
Yep.
Sometimes control decks have answers to it, but in general, I just think it's really, really fun and quite strong.
I do one at the bottom, one at the top, same as you, putting a probe droid on top. I think I might. Yeah, you stand up. You're in Final 4 and.
Yeah, I decided to start the Grand Inquisitor thing early. It felt like it was worth it. I lose initiative, but seems fine to start getting some damage on the base.
Yep.
I decided to resource Sentinel, which I don't know if it's fully optimal, but I just wanted to keep my other options available. I feel like the Bike Pursuer would be useful, maybe to play 2 cards in a future turn, and you kill my Inferno, so I do the Inferno action here again, and put a Power of the Dark Side on top of the deck.
Yeah, very strong. I ended up resourcing the card I put on top, so perhaps not the most optimal play with me, but.
Yeah, you made the best decision in the moment. So you Viper Probe and have a look at my Bike, Baze, and Sister. And I played that Fifth Brother, which I top decked, and then stand him up with Inquisitor. I think, did you claim at this point? Yeah.
I did claim, yeah.
So I decided to use his Fifth Brother's ability. So when I attack on attack, so technically before the attack, I do a damage to each of us, which allows me to swing for an extra damage, so I can do 5 into base, which for me, 7 damage at the end of turn 2, I think is optimal. I'm happy with that.
Yep. Oh, you also did 1 to the probe droid, even if it's showing 2 damage. We put the wrong number on it, but we did not take it off the board.
Yeah, it's just 1 damage on there. But I'm definitely the aggro deck in this matchup. We can both do a lot of damage, but I think Krennic leans towards late game more, and Inquisitor wants to get out early. You finish off the fifth brother before he has a chance to do any more.
Yeah,
And I just,
it might seem strange to play the Viper Protoid last turn instead of a space unit that costs 3, not fully utilizing my resources, but I wanted something on the ground to deal with guys like this.
yeah,
If left
makes sense.
unchecked, he can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, he would have swung for 5 again, and it just gets worse from there. So I think that was a good play by you. Even if you had one resource left open, I think it was the right move. And then this interceptor takes out Inferno 4, so you do the Inferno thing, and then play a Star Viper.
Yeah, and I do get to put an overwhelming barrage on the top of my deck.
Question, Siggy. We're quite early on, right? We're in turn 3, going into turn 4, and you've got 2 Avengers in hand now. What are your thoughts? Like, are you definitely keeping one? I see you've resourced one. Are you definitely keeping the other one? How do you feel about it?
Yes. I might resource one on turn. I will probably resource one on the opening turn. But after that, I kind of want to keep one. I think it's just such a good finisher in the stack.
Yeah, absolutely. So I decide to use my first action here to keep putting damage into base, so we get up to 10. And then you start putting damage into my base too. This is the 5 resource turn, so you got quite a lot of options here. You've got Gideon, you've got Battalion, still got ECL open, and it's the Krennic turn, so I feel like there's a lot of options here.
Yeah. So my line of thinking was because your interceptor is low health. If you play something with low health, I can barrage for 5 and take out 2 things. If you play something with low health and ping it with your Inquisitor, this is why I decided to attack before, because I wanted to bait more things out on the table.
Sure.
But Seven Sister is 6, and now I can't even barrage her. Even if, well, I can if she takes damage.
Yeah, and I didn't know what your thought process was at this point. Obviously, I didn't know what you had in hand, but I know that you've got options to deal with her. So it took me a while to decide here, and I feel like it's a bit of a gamble for me to use my base action and give her a shield, but then I can stand her up with 6 health. I know that she's not vulnerable to takedown because she's got 6 health. So I decided to take that play, even though it felt like a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, and I decided to play out.
I forgot about the shield there, so I went to put the damage and then took it off. But
Yeah.
GI stands her up.
Yeah. I play out Gideon, and my hope is just you won't kill him, and then I have a good barrage target for the next turn to deal with the Seven Sister.
Yeah, nice. And I think you were considering a pass there, but then you decided to hit Krennic into base and restore 2.
Yeah, because I know I have an extra turn, because you can't really use your epic action, stand the Seven Sister up, and then not attack with her. That seems the wrong play. So I know you're kind of forced into attacking with her since you
Absolutely.
put so much into it.
Yeah, and I don't think it's terrible because I get to put 3 damage onto Krennic and 3 into base.
Yeah,
And like you say, you still get initiative, but it was great that at least I managed to. I was nervous I would ready her and she would be dead before she even got to attack, so I was pretty happy
yeah,
with that. And I really want to get rid of this Krennic because the more he restores, the more unlikely it is I'll have a chance to win this game. Already, I feel like you've slowed me down and stopped me doing as much damage as I would like, so I want to push as much through as I can.
yeah. And here comes the overwhelming barrage,
Yeah,
putting Gideon up to 7. Uh, we do the same mistake again, putting 2 on the Imperial Interceptor. Oh well, you corrected there. And I give the experience from Gideon to the Star Viper, taking it out of range of your Imperial Interceptor.
nice. And Gideon is currently a 7/7, so I'm just trying to figure out what I can do here and if there's a way I can get around it. So if I bring Grand Inquisitor out, I have the option to play Force Choke for 1 instead of 2, which is handy because he's a Force unit. But if I bring him out now, Gideon just one taps him. So I need to see if I can find a way around it. I play Power of the Dark Side, and you choose to put Krennic instead of the Star Viper, which surprised me. I thought maybe the Star Viper would go, but you had plans to take care of my interceptor.
Yeah, he restores for the same, and I can take something off the board uh, that deals 3 damage to me each turn.
Absolutely, and the Gideon experience means that he stays alive. Um,
Yeah,
but
and
the 7/7 Gideon is still there, so I'm reluctant to pull out the Grand Inquisitor.
yeah, that is understandable. We had a bit of a discussion, and you can leave it in the comments. Gary wanted to pass here without passing, so he was thinking about, can we use the Grand Inquisitor for his ability without actually having a target?
Yeah, without a target. I'm
Yeah,
not 100% on the answer right now, so it'd be interesting to see if anybody's got any thoughts. My thought was it would change the board state because he would no longer be ready, he would be exhausted, and then we could potentially do as much of the ability as possible, which in this instance would be nothing, and would allow me to have an extra action taken without passing, but we weren't sure, so I decided to not, and I went with the force choke, so that at least at the end of the turn, Gideon would die.
yep. I get to draw a card from that. Accidentally drew 2, put 1 on top of the deck, and then a swing. Gideon's 7 into base, which allows you to take out the Grand Inquisitor. Uh, I think
Uh,
it's a fine trade for me because I will have the initiative. I will have a Star Viper um, to
Continue healing.
keep on restoring, and it's putting 4 damage on your base each turn. So I'm not super fussed about uh, this trade.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's fair. And strangely enough, we both have got 12 damage on base at the moment, so we're about halfway to lethal.
Yeah,
But I was feeling quite good about the Grand Inquisitor out in ground on his own until you Power of the Dark Side. I completely forgot that that was even an option.
yeah. I top deck that. You can kind of say that the your force choke that allowed me to draw a card led me into that. Just really nice.
Yeah, fair,
And
fair.
out comes a super late technician. Some would think it's pretty late in the game, but it gets me closer to Avengers time.
Absolutely. I think when you're aiming for Avenger, it's fine to play him at this stage, right? Like in other decks, maybe like Boba or stuff, you want to play him super early to get to that 5 resources. But here the magic number is 9, right?
Yeah.
And I can see why you want to get there. But I was pleased to play 2 units and have them both still be on the board at the start of the next round. So
Yeah.
you, however, did some more damage into me and a bit of healing. I
Yep.
feel like the game is starting to slip away from me here because of your heals, but I managed to pull a Ruthless Raider, so I can do 2 damage to base and 2 damage to the Star Viper to get rid of it. So I was pretty happy with that. Now I've got
Then
3 units on board.
yep, that also saves 4 damage from your base and 2 healing from my base. So uh, a big swing playing this card.
A really big swing, yeah, and also having 3 units. I mean, you steadfast battalion this one straight off the board, but it at least allows me to not be super vulnerable to Power of the Dark Side.
Yep.
If you were to pull another one, so I'm feeling okay at this point, even though I don't like the fact that we are heading towards end game, which is Krennic territory.
Yeah. Uh, so I decide to use my super lazy technician to get to 5 resources so I can play the overwhelming barrage. Even though I've attacked with steadfast, I can take out the ruthless raider. I have no other way of dealing with it. The takedown doesn't work, and I also want to clear as much of the board as possible before the adventure comes out. Because if you have multiple units on the board, then the adventure will not do enough.
Yeah, exactly. But the bike does get to swing for 1 extra damage, so yeah, it's pretty tight. Like you only have 6 HP left. I have 9, but you now have big resources. At this stage, I didn't have any cards in hand at the start of the round, so I'm literally just playing what I've got. I've pulled a fifth brother and a force choke. I'm not super happy about this, but I'm going to try my best and see if I can push through six damage somehow.
Yeah, it's very important for you to draw 2 units to put a real pressure on my Avenger.
And I think it's really interesting, Siggy. So I stand up the fifth brother with Grand Inquisitor here. But at this stage of the game, you've got the Avenger out. I'm almost like I haven't given up. Of course, I would never give up. But he swings for 5 damage and puts you on 24. And I'm like, is there a chance? I don't know. I don't think there is. Like the Avenger's probably just going to clean up, does what the Avenger does, and will probably finish the game. But I managed to draw 2 more units, so.
Yep, seems like that is what the doctor ordered. The Avenger can take you down to 24, leaving each base on 1 health.
Yeah. And at the same time takes fifth brother off the board, so
Yep.
whatever happens, it's going to be a close one.
I had to think a bit about this one because I can play overwhelming barrage on it and kill you. But if you have power of the dark side, I have lost the game.
The Avenger would disappear, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I've just lost the game. So, well, also if I yeah, so yeah, I decided to do it this way. Out comes the cell block card. I have to take it out. There's no two ways about it. You can ready it and kill me. So
yeah, Grand Inquisitor is there, ready to tell somebody to stand up.
yeah. So a takedown it is, and things are looking a bit grim for Gary here because I have an overwhelming barrage to deal with the base.
And 5 resources up.
And then you will have nothing on the board, and I will just swing for the win with my Avenger at the start of the next turn.
The overwhelming barrage takes out base, and I claim. And at this stage, I'm thinking, is there anything I can do in one action to get one single damage onto your base? And I think we were talking about it at this stage. I didn't know. I couldn't remember if there was anything in the deck. But look what I pulled, Siggy.
A Ruthless Raider for the win.
On play, 2 damage to a unit, 2 damage to base. Unbelievable. What a tight game.
Yep, very well done, Gary. Well played. Super exciting game. One of the best ones in the series, I think.
I don't think we've had one this close in a long time.
Yeah. So Grand Inquisitor advances into the top 4, where he will face Boba Fett in a best out of 3 match in a future episode.
I don't think that Grand Inquisitor was on my list of favourites to get into the semi-finals, but here we are. He's going to have a go at Boba. It's going to be a fun one.
Absolutely. So thanks for watching, guys. This has been the 7th aspect. Please like and subscribe.